What is shaking, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Jesslee Roadshow, presented by Winject Studios with Black Label Nash. As you can tell, Jesslee and
Hi.
Virginia. Same shirt, bro. Like, what happened? What happened?
Yeah, I know. You really screwed up your whole change in shirt thing.
You know, I caught so much shit for it. I decided I would just endorse this shirt brand because I only have 5 t-shirts. This one shirt, yeah, I was feeling it, so I decided to keep it.
I like the color.
Thanks.
I'll tell you, it brings out your eyes.
What, the red in my eyes? Like, what am I, like a demon now all of a sudden?
No, I mean, it is what it is. You got to play the part. I mean,
like
if that door opens, might as well walk through it. I mean, just do what you got to do. Let's live a life. So, guys, I appreciate coming back to another episode. And just to let everyone know, this show is all about giving you a little bit more access behind the curtain to Jesslee and her staff and manager, band, going on the road, the experiences they're going to have, going on tour. Cannot wait for myself. So this is a sneak peek of what is actually going to happen. So it's kind of future pacing. Your manifest. We're about to catch into the reality, and obviously with the reality show coming up, it's going to be really, really exciting. So I know that we went to a lot of detail on, obviously episode 1 and 2. And we're going to talk today about one of my favorite places of all time, and it's Chicago.
Chicago.
You got that za. You got that za in Chicago.
Right. Chi-town. So Wrigley Field out there. I was telling the guys here that my first beer ever was at Wrigley Field. So and I love that place. So anyways, and it was all downhill from there. Oh shit.
Exactly. Wrigley Field is the bomb. I loved it there. I love that the little town that it's in. There's a cute
Wrigleyville.
Yeah, and then it was like right across the street. There's that country bar.
Well, so Wrigleyville, there's 2 bars in Chicago, oddly enough, and one of them's in Wrigleyville. It's called Old Crow Smokehouse, right? And we played both of them. We played the one that's downtown, and then that one, and we had the bartenders get so pissed at us because the bar is separated into 2 sections, right? So we were playing, there's like 800 people there, and all the people came to our side of the restaurant. And so there's 800 people in the one half and 0 people in the other half. And the bartenders up front got sent home, and the bartenders in back were like, "Oh, it's the best night we've ever had in the history of the restaurant."
I mean, what are you going to do though?
That's my only Chicago story.
I'm like,
that is not your only Chicago story.
Like, why are you hating? I mean, what I would have done is I'd have worked out if I was one of those bartenders, I'd have worked out a deal with the ones over there. I'm like, I know you're in the weeds right now. I guess what they say when they're in restaurants, I think. Yeah. Is that? Yeah, I pulled that from my subconscious. So I was like, nice. That was pretty good. I've never worked in the fucking, you know what I mean? That's a bartender. But could you imagine that? Me being a bartender? Like, holy shit, I would die in a week. But I would die in a week. I'm like, so let me tell you, I'll be the guy like grabbing a thing and cleaning the mugs and shit. And like, let me tell you those, like I would be like a poet or some shit.
Like spit shining them. Let me tell you.
You would either die in a week or like no one would leave. And they'd be so happy with you because no one would want to leave because they'd want to hear all your stories.
They'd all be your best friends.
Yeah.
So they'd sit there and nurse one beer all night long just so they could talk to you.
Yeah, but let me tell you about yourself. You know? But so like, when was the last time you went to Chicago?
The last time was actually 4 months ago?
4 months ago.
And it was actually at Scooter's Roadhouse, the place that we're going to be going back and playing on tour for this upcoming tour for this year. So Scooter's Roadhouse is like one of my favorite places. It's actually technically not in Chicago. It's like right outside of it. It's
in Shorewood.
It's in Shorewood, and it's like literally right on the outskirts. And I freaking love it. It gets rowdy every time. It's actually one of the most favorite venues I've ever played because everybody that comes in there is like down to have a good time. The energy is always high. Last time we were there,
I come here to get fucked up.
Yeah, literally. Last time we were there, I ended up having, and it was crazy because like, I don't even know how it got that way because like, I don't drink when I perform. I just don't.
Oh, that was one of my questions I always wanted to ask you, and I didn't ask you when I had you on. Yeah, go ahead.
I do not drink when I perform.
Good for you.
I will have in my rider, I have it to where I usually request a bottle of wine for after, and then the band and all of us will come. But for me, it's like this is my job. Any other job, I would not be drinking on the job, you know? And that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, I want to be the best performer I can be. I want to be tuned in.
Authentic.
tap to my energy 100%. I don't want any,
Love that.
alterations to what I'm feeling genuinely. Why do I say altercations every damn time? I don't want those either.
I was like, I have a lot of those.
George Bushes me all the time and makes words up that don't really exist.
I really do.
George Bush. It's like, they have a saying in Texas, you fooming in. And he says it again.
I literally.
And then afterwards, she goes.
I literally will make up a word. I'll know it's not, but I'll know what it's supposed to mean, and I'll know that he knows what it's supposed to mean, and then I'll be like,
mean nothing, and then she'll take them and put them together.
Yeah,
and make a word of her own, but it actually oddly makes sense
for instance,
every time.
Like I love to say knipshit instead of conniption.
Yeah,
like
I like that. My staff has I used to call it CRB-isms.
Yeah,
and that's a whole other story and why they called me CRB. But my staff calls it like Chrisisms.
Yeah.
But I'll make up my own damn words. How I'm making them feel is okay for me to fuck it up. Who cares what he just said?
It doesn't just even go to, it's funny you're saying that, it doesn't even just go to words. It literally goes to the point where Steve has a journal, like a full-on journal of entire
I wasn't going to say anything.
Of entire sayings I've messed up, like things that just make no sense.
He is documenting. You're telling me you don't take good audio notes? How do you not take good audio notes?
It's a note that I have in my phone called "Funny Shit Jesslee Says." Hold on, let me find it.
That's actually pretty cool. That's how you know he's really in love.
I don't know.
No, it's definitely true.
You're like Ross from Friends. How many times you know what I mean?
He needs to be careful because some of them are bad.
So sometimes she'll send me text messages that like don't make any sense. Okay, so here's a couple as she's been drinking a couple. Like, we talked about wine in the last episode and how she likes, right?
This usually happens us sitting watching a TV show and we're observing together. We're just chit-chatting and I'll usually just say something and he's like, and he'll get quiet and then I know.
Is it like a Jessica Simpson thing, the chicken of the sea?
Kind of. So like she goes, why buy the cow when you can just go get the milk off the shelf? I said, you mean why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? She goes, I don't get it. I like mine better.
That's great. That's actually good.
Here's another one. I don't even know what the context.
Got a book of this stuff.
I don't even know what context this was. It was Jesslee Wine Talk. Save your Sasquatch. I don't know what the hell that means. Here's another one. Look at those bitches in that Kentucky Herbie hat.
Okay,
wait, I got one more.
No, stop reading. No, stop reading.
Look at them bitches in that Kentucky Herbie hat.
We're all things.
This is a good one. You mean caramel doesn't come from a tree? It's not God made?
These are all things.
Please read another one.
Okay.
No, I thought it was like sap. Like tree sap.
I get it. No, I get it. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. Please.
Okay. Hold on.
Be careful though, because some of them are bad.
No, but this is why the whole point is. This is great. Please.
This is a good one. He went to the edge of space.
No.
You mean the core or the crust? No, wait. You mean he went to the homosphere through the ozone layer?
I'm telling you, man, this is the best thing. This is the best thing ever. This is. I'm by far. You have no idea what's going to happen when you come and listen to this show.
Did she send me a text message one time, and like it autocorrected, and she goes, "On my way, sleazy llama."
Llama spit at you.
And then
alpaca. Was it an alpaca?
Right.
The funny thing was I really at that point he was concerned because I didn't even correct it because I was like, I literally my phone changed it,
said it was
and then I literally was like, he'll get it.
I'll get it. Llama.
I hate autocorrect, by the way.
My phone is the worst. I can't even tell you how many different names he's called me. He tries to call me babe, and it changes it to Abby every time. And I'm like, who the hell is Abby?
Oh God!
Yeah, it's like I'll be like, okay, babe, and then it go, okay, Abby, and I'm like, I sins, and I'm like, shit.
Who is Abby?
Text back. Who the hell is Abby? I'm gonna kill a bitch.
No, I'm just kidding.
And I'm like, it was Siri. It was Siri's
fault. Siri did it. Siri's ruined my marriage.
Siri did it. Her fault.
I was like, so, could you imagine, like, so why? What brings you here? Like going to therapy. What brings you here today? He's screwing somebody named Abby.
Right.
Well, she called me a sleazy llama.
And the therapist like goes home and gets like plastered because he's like, I gotta have a drink. This is crazy.
Caramel was God made, so I mean,
Chris didn't even laugh at that one. He laughed at everyone. That was the only one. He goes.
His eyes got real big.
It's like, I don't know what's happening right now. What should I do with my hands?
I have like 50 more. If sometime I'll read them to you.
Like, so each episode, guys, to get a little bit more access to these Jesslee-isms, we'll put them in the show notes and do some type of giveaway. Right?
Oh,
We
no.
should make T-shirts with every Jesslee-ism on it and number them.
We may have to do that. That'd be actually kind of funny.
Sasquatch.
I'd rock one.
Yeah,
I would too. Hashtag.
Squatch 2000.
So if anybody's listening, it's hashtag one of those. We'll do some type of special giveaway and be fun.
I love that.
So anyways, back to Deep Dish Pizza. I keep talking now. Deep Dish Pizza.
You're doing it now.
I'm doing it now too. You rub it off on me. Deep Dish Pizza and scooters. So talk to me about like what is it like inside of scooters?
Oh my gosh. So it is a legit Roadhouse. You get in there, there's this big old stage, big open dance floor. They've got, I think it's like 3 bars.
There's 3 bars.
Yeah, 3 bars in the one room, and it is a party. So yeah, we
Or
were
just
there.
one if you're sober.
Right. So we were there,
I
and
see 3 of you right now.
first night, and right, exactly. Hold on, there's 3 of you.
There's 3 of you. Hit the one in the middle. Like, okay.
He says, I don't drink during shows, but there's really only 1 bar in there.
So
I don't drink. I guzzle at shows.
well, I'll tell you what, they know how to welcome you though. Like they act like there's 3 damn bars, because literally halfway through the show, I'm not even kidding. Like I said, I don't drink while I perform. I wait till after, and we usually all have a glass of wine with my band. So we're like halfway through the show, and I'm not even exaggerating. There are 40 beers like lined
like
up.
40.
Like they just kept buying me drinks, and it was like they weren't even noticing I wasn't even drinking them, and they're just sitting there, and there's buckets of beers. They're
sitting them on the bar, or I mean, sitting them on the stage.
there
On the
was some
stage,
on the bar,
everywhere.
on the stage, yeah, on front of the stage
amps,
for me to.
on the drums, riser, everywhere.
Yeah, there's shots. There's
everywhere.
White Claws. Like, I mean, when I tell you there was probably about 40 different selections and then shots and stuff around it, it was insane. So they just kept piling them on. There's beers coming in buckets, like 10 beers in a bucket, and there's like 5 buckets up there. I'm like, what the hell? These people party. So
99 bottles of beer in a wall. 99 bottles of beer. Take
that's
one
why
down.
they
Pass it
needed-
around. Yeah.
that's why they needed 3 bars, because these people know how to party. So they're all lined up. Everybody's like, and every once in a while, I'll take a beer and I'll do something called, and sometimes I normally do it with water, but
You might not want to tell him the name of this.
it's called a holler and a swaller.
A holler and a swallow.
Chris
And
is
I
like,
literally-
yes, I
I
can't
remember-
wait.
Somebody's like, don't threaten me with a good time. You know.
And I do let them know. I knew you were going to say that. And I do let them know it has nothing to do with anything sexual. It sounds like it, but it's not.
But everybody runs to the front of the stage when it happens.
Yeah,
just so
I
you
say,
know.
come on over here. Let's do a holler and a swaller.
Everybody's like,
So
up to
So-
the front of
I'm
the
like,
So-
what'd you say?
Excuse me?
most of them do, because it's very country thing. And like, even though a lot of people like country music, like Chicago people aren't like the most country folks out there. So like, they usually don't know what it is. So they all come running up to the stage, and everybody, I'm like, holler and a swaller. So what you do is you hold your beer up, and you can literally pick something that you like. Like if you're somewhere that's known for something, you can like pick like what it's famous for or whatever. I usually just stick with I'm going to count to 3. We're all going to say yeehaw, and then we're going to take a big swaller of our beer. So we do that, and I take my sip. Steve takes his sip, and then we're getting ready to go into the next song, and the song started, and we're in it to win it. And this guy comes running up, and he's got all these shots now. And he's like, take these shots. So I'm in the middle of singing, which is the funniest thing too, because it's like they want me to perform, and they want to still talk to me and have me
Like,
drink.
I'm trying to sing, asshole. Like,
Right.
But I love it. Like they're all feeling it. So it's funny because it's all really good energy, and it's all laugh, and it's just like pure fun. So I tell my guitarist, and
Steve.
Steve
there's another
Steve is
one.
my other guitarist.
Okay.
I mean, Steve is my other guitarist, but I also have another one. I tell my other lead guitarist, I'm like, hey, can you go grab those? Because it was by him. So he grabs them. He passes one to the drummer. And they're actually, fun fact, they're actually not allowed to drink either. I will let them have a couple sips of stuff, like if we're like 5 or 6 songs out and they can start kind of having, you know, a drink or whatever. But like throughout the show, they can't just be like throwing back beers and shots. And
I think it's important. I think it's important because they're obviously a representation of you.
Yes, exactly. So it's not a thing. That's why there were so many beers that were people just kept bringing them. Like we're not even drinking them. It was crazy. So we're about like 5 songs out till the show's done. He gets the shots and he's like, you know what? One shot ain't gonna kill us. Well, I'll take it. So he gives one to my
Is this
drummer.
a peanut butter story?
Yeah. He gives one to my drummer Dre.
Meanwhile, we're in the part of the song where it's just Jesslee hyping the crowd. The drummers.
Yeah, we're getting hyped. Everything's like, everything's getting ready to go.
Hyping people up. We're clapping and shit. That's all that's happening. Nobody's playing any music.
Not yet. Right? So not yet, but y'all are supposed to be kicking it in here soon. So they decide we're gonna take a shot and then hit it, right? So
hit it. Boom. I don't know why it popped in my head. Good.
Right. So everybody hands it off. My bassist get one. My drummer gets one. My other guitarist has one, and then he hands one to Steve, and he goes, "Oh my god!" He takes it. He goes, "Oh my god, you need to drink this. This is insane." Steve takes it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's really good, but." And we're like, and I just kind of hear Steve making that sound. And I like kind of turn around and I'm like literally talking to the crowd and keep, you know, so I'm not really paying.
He's like, he's got there dying, Jesslee singing shit. Like, oh, it's all right. It'll be all right.
The face is starting to get big.
So he's like, what was that? And Steve is like, definitely will anaphylaxize if he has peanut butter. Just for anybody who doesn't know that and is a new listener and doesn't know Steve. And don't
buy him peanut butter. Do not buy him peanut butter.
And
our first sponsor is like Jiffy.
I'm riding a peanut butter bus, so I just want to eat it.
It's funny too because I consume peanut butter on the daily, like in gallons. And
I love peanut butter too.
And Steve, like, it's funny because like when I eat my peanut butter, he has to stay away from me for a while. But so he doesn't like when I eat peanut butter. But
and baked beans.
Well, that's a different reason.
Yeah, exactly. So
roll that beautiful bean footage. Yeah. Anyways.
Right. So Steve's like, this is so good. What's in it? And my other guitarist goes, it's a peanut butter and jelly shot. And he's like so cute because he's like this like kind of like surfer guy. He goes, huh? And he's like, it's a peanut butter and jelly shot. And
it's
like,
amazing.
He didn't know. He was like the only person for some reason that didn't know that Steve was allergic to peanuts. And Steve was like, bro, I'm allergic to peanuts. And he goes, oh. And
that was his response.
He was like, well, that's unfortunate.
His response wasn't, oh God, I better go get you some medicine.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
That was it. And then I look over.
And he paused. Halt.
Yeah, I'm hoping he doesn't go in the military. He would freeze. Yeah.
Well,
he's the first one to die.
Yeah. Well, I look back. He's the cutest. I love him so much. So I look back. He looks shocked. Steve is like choking, and all of a sudden I see Steve grab, and I've never seen this. I see him grab 2 White Claws, and he just starts downing them. And the funny thing is
like
the
crowd went nuts. Like, yeah!
He was partying.
Austin, I was getting ready to die, and I was like, well, I better live it up. And I went, goosh, and went, go.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, that shit.
They thought he was partying. So they all start going wild. And then what does he do? He realizes that, like, okay, he's good. The shot, thank God, something happens too with certain things, like the way that it's cooked or whatever with peanuts or whatever. Like he can eat what can you eat? The ChickfilA. He can eat, even though ChickfilA is actually cooked in peanut oil.
Don't talk to me about ChickfilA. Don't even talk about it.
I'm so sorry.
Do not talk about it.
Don't talk about it.
Well, he can eat it because of the way it like synthesizes while it's sitting there like cooking in the oil or whatever. So he got away with this, although like he felt it, like it must have been the way that it was like made. I don't know, but there were a very small amount of peanut butter and maybe just flavoring. I don't know, but it started to affect him. He drinks these White Claws.
I'm laughing because I thought of Ivan Drago And like him going me like I haven't eaten Chick-fil-A in forever. We have to stop at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And if I'm like I know he's allergic to peanut butter and or peanut oil. Like if he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
It's like
He dies.
I don't know why I thought of that.
He dies.
It's so good.
So meanwhile, I'm like, I discovered my love of White Claw that night.
Well,
right?
no, it was funny because he realized he wasn't going to die. And he realized he was okay. And he saw the crowd. This is how much of a ham Steve can be. This is his Gemini. Like one moment he's go with the flow and the next Steve is the star. Steve realized in that moment he was the star because the crowd went wild. And what does Steve do?
They see me.
Yeah, he takes them and he crushes them and he throws the cans out into the crowd and he's like, oh, like
That's awesome.
Like, he
I
played
did
it
the old
off.
hair flip, like, wow.
He played
with
it
the guitar.
off like it was like he was just chugging it on purpose and like
Yeah,
the
but
guy.
Typically, you're not manly at all if you chug White Claw, period.
Exactly.
Or two
Boone's
White Claws.
Farm.
Doesn't make you any manlier to chug 2 White Claws at a time.
It's kind of like that smeared off ice. You have to get do the Neil thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
So,
when you're
Jinx.
ice.
so
Isn't that what it was called? Your
what?
stomach.
I'm telling you, did you hear that? It sounded like I farted, but it was
Did
actually
you
my
just hear
stomach.
that? Did you
They're
hear
like,
that?
or, like, just Chick-fil-A.
My
God's
stomach
like
goes-
trying to mess with us.
That's
That was my
Steve's
stomach.
stomach.
No, that wasn't a frog. That was Steve's stomach.
That was so loud.
She goes, dude, did you hear that? And I was like, yeah, it came from my guts.
It came from my intuition.
It's my intuition. But yeah, so White Claw saved the day. Hopefully we can get a White Claw sponsor with my Pantene Pro V sponsor.
That's right.
And
Hair
I'll-
flip.
Yeah, the hair flip, and then I'll drink a White Claw all afterwards.
Exactly.
But White Claw saved my life. in
I've never
Chicago.
seen you chug anything like that before.
I had to, or I was going to die. So that,
I was like, it's a sacrifice.
it was a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice.
I
Like it's kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street where Leonardo DiCaprio was like on the boat, and he was like, the boat's going down. It's like, I'm not gonna die sober.
You know, the only other time that we accidentally got drunk at a show was one time. We all accidentally got drunk at a
On
show.
purpose.
No, it was totally accidental.
This was actually
it was
insane.
a total accident.
And again, another reason why I don't drink at shows. But
This
then I'm
instituted the policy of not drinking during shows. Tell them about it.
no, I've never drinking during shows.
Well, that's
I-
what started our.
I can't drink and walk. Like it's like, the problem with here's the thing about drinking for myself. It was never an issue with drinking. It's that I would just have so much fun, and I wanted everybody to feel what I was feeling. So I would just get everybody else plastered, so I would have a good time.
Right.
But it was just the fact that I loved the energy, and I didn't understand it. It's like I can do this not drinking.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
so I love that. I dig the fact that you're true to yourself, and I wouldn't say that you wouldn't know the limit, but you know that you need to be conscious of the obviously your internal source and being able to polarize that energy out, right?
Absolutely. Well, Steve went from rock star with the White Claws to I was going to kill him really fast because the show ends.
Oh my God, we have to tell this story.
This
too,
is
don't
this
we?
is how
Here we go. Here we go.
Scooters Roadhouse.
Yes.
So I end my show, very big 3/4 ballad. I literally I'm like, thank you, Wisconsin. And then
Thank you, Alabama.
thank you, Sherwood in this case, right? Thank you, Sherwood. I get off stage, I go to the green room, right?
It's a real John Mayer gravity moment,
It
right?
is.
It's what it feels like.
It's a very big song. So
I
we
love
end
John
it with a big 3/4 ballad. I'm like, thank you. I hop off stage. They actually finish the show while I'm not on stage, right? So I'm in there. I'm literally getting all of my stuff together for meet and greets and just getting my shit together basically because we host any meet and greets and stuff
right afterwards.
Yeah, because people buy tickets beforehand or whatever, right? So they get everybody out and then the only people that stay are meet and greet people. So so I'm getting my stuff together and all of a sudden Steve comes walking in the back room and he literally looks like someone ate his lunch. He was just his head was down and he was so sad.
Here's me right here. Here's my hair on my face.
His hair
I'm
was
like
all
this.
emo. His hair was all emo
Ugh.
out of his face. And he was like, hey, I got something to tell you. And I'm like, and I first
Will
thing
you marry me?
the first, No, the first thing I say is, what'd you do?
What'd
I
you
knew.
do?
I was like,
I'm
what'd
like
you
this.
do?
I'm like a puppy. I'm like looking up like this.
Right,
You know?
and I'm like, I don't even know my name right now.
I was like, what did you do? Because I could tell it was something that I was gonna be pissed at. And all of a sudden, he was smart. Jackson, my bassist, comes in the room and he told Jackson to come in there to mediate so I wouldn't freak the frig out.
Smart.
Jackson comes in and Jackson's like, because Jackson's very like, hey, bro.
Hey,
So that's Jackson. Jackson comes up and he's like, hey, bros. And he's like,
He's just standing there. He's like looking at us.
Just standing there. And I
like
look at Steve and I'm like, oh, I know this is going to be bad because he brought Jackson in the room to protect him.
You didn't even know that. Like, but they're smart though. I mean, that's like protection. It's like when you want to break up with a girl or something, or like you do it in a public place, you don't get killed.
I thought she was gonna break up with me or make me ride a cow all the way back to Nashville. Hey, you got a cow I can ride.
I can't believe I said that. Like, I rode a cow once.
Hey, I rode a cow one time.
I could literally like you should get Sam Elliott's like I guess the hair and whatnot, and just put my face. I rode a cow.
Rode a cow one time.
Maybe that needs to start. Hey, I rode a cow one time.
In Sri Lanka.
Yeah. So Jackson comes up, and I already know. I'm like, this is not going to be good.
It wasn't.
And he goes, yeah, I broke your guitar. And my touring guitar. And I'm very connected to all of my guitars. I have like 23 guitars. They're all named. I take one on tour because it's like the perfect touring guitar because it's not extremely, extremely expensive, but it's still like not cheap, you know? And he goes, I broke your guitar. And I'm like, what do you mean? And then all of a sudden he starts getting all sad and Jackson's all sad and they're both like tearing up, telling the story. And Jackson's like, yeah, bro, that's what happened. And Steve's like, yeah, so I was putting your stuff away and literally I fell and I tripped on a wire somehow and my face went right through it. And I'm like, what? And I'm not even kidding. Like there was a
Steve's like, I didn't mean to do this. Okay, I was drunk off a White Claw.
There was a straight like hole as big as the normal hole in a guitar next to the.
Look at the size of my head, Chris. Okay, that's the size hole that's in the front of her guitar.
Yeah, but you got to also put into obviously the dynamics of this is the amount of force that you was going into that. So it was to create a little bit more of a bigger hole.
I was like, how?
Yes.
Did you do this?
It's physics.
So meanwhile, here's how it went down. She has this really nice bag called a mono bag, right? It's got like 3 inches of padding. We do that.
Okay. I thought it was just like she names her bags now too. Like,
no. They're called mono bags.
I didn't know what I was on.
I gently laid the guitar in the mono bag. I had put the strap just like she likes it. I'm like, she's going to be so happy with me when we get back to the hotel and she sees that I didn't fuck her strap up. So like, I go to flip it over and my foot is like, on a wire on the stage, right? And I lost my balance and my head goes goosh.
Oh man.
And then the microphone stand, to add insult to injury, hits me on the back of the head and goes, right?
Ooh.
And the drummer looks up and he goes, damn, that looked like it hurt, right? The guitar player comes over and he goes, you okay? And I was like, because I heard the guitar go, and on my face,
my face just went inside of a guitar.
I'm not even thinking about the contusion on my face. I'm thinking, Jesslee,
oh gosh, she's gonna kill me. Yeah.
And so like literally,
she's look at her face right now. She's like,
there's a hole this big in her guitar, and I'm like,
you should hang it on the wall.
We did
actually. I'm like, I'm a dead man. Well, the story ends well. The story ends.
Maybe that's
really
something we should auction off. Who knows?
So
that would be a big auction. That's a big story. I wouldn't do that. I would.
So my face goes through the guitar, and so I go back in the back, and she goes, she's trying to keep her shit together because Jackson's there, and she doesn't want to lose her shit in front of Jackson, right?
Yeah, I am. We're very respective in the way that, like, I'm a big believer. I'm very old school. Like, I grew up with my grandmother who also toured professionally with my grandfather. Like, everywhere. They were the best of friends. To this day, they're still married and they still work together. And one of the things that my grandmother told me was that no matter how angry you are at your man, don't ever embarrass him in front of people because you can go home and you can have conversations. And
great advice.
It's true. If you really care about your relationship, don't argue in public. And I believe that, and I stand by that. And the second I saw Jackson walk in that room, because he knew he was protected.
Yeah.
Because he knew I wasn't going to give him the wrath in front of everybody.
So meanwhile, Jackson thought that it was over and that she took it really well. And he walks out and she goes, "You will replace my guitar
today
with one of double value."
Jackson finally leaves. And I was like, "You better replace my guitar and you better double what it's worth." And I leave.
She walked out and I was like, I'm immediately on the phone looking for.
It's like, what kind of connections I got in Chicago?
I'm looking for artist reps for Breed Love Guitars, right? So I'm sending messages. I had 50 text messages sent. "Hey, do you know anybody at Breed Love? Hey, do you know anybody at Breed Love? Hey, Breed Love artists, you know anybody?"
Copy and paste.
She comes back, "Did you replace it yet?" And I was like,
it was like 5
the door
minutes.
opens. "Did you replace it yet?"